Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of NCIS Season 19, Episode 20, titled All or Nothing. Does anyone else out there remember that really old pseudo cheesy O-Town song? I don't even remember what it's called, but it was like "Give it all or nothing at all." Listen, let me know in the comments. All right, this episode is all about Jimmy Palmer and Jessica Knight. All you Knight and Shining Palmer fans out there, unite, rejoice. It is party time.
I see that there are a couple different ship names out there for these two, but here at the channel, it is Knight and Shining
Thank you.
Palmer. I don't want to see any Jemmies in the comments. No, we've got a ship name here, Knight and Shining Palmer. It is happening, and they're acknowledging it on the show. There is no kiss of goodbye going on with this coupling. They talked about it in this episode. Something happened between them. They acknowledged it.
Thank you, writers. I know that you're doing this because you wanted to make us happy, and we just want you to know we appreciate it. We don't need another kiss and then goodbye. We're leaving the show.
No, we're done with that. We are done with that. And clearly, NCIS has listened a little bit to the fans' complaints over the years that they have done that multiple times now, where we finally see two people get together. In the last episode, one of them is on the show, typically the female agent, and she leaves.
We've got a ton to get into here, but before we go further, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, because guess what? Next week is the finale. Big things are probably going to happen.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Also, in case you guys are wondering, there's a lot of big things happening here at the channel, including later this month, the launch of Obi-Wan Kenobi. We can be your only hope when it comes to consistent coverage of the show. I don't care that a million people have done that joke. I did it. Y'all are dealing with it unless you stopped watching this video, which hopefully you didn't.
Also follow us over on Instagram, Matt and Jess TV. We have some new pictures up there of all of our pets. And so if you like bunnies, you like dogs, you like cats, follow us over there.
Okay, there's a lot of different things I really like about this episode for Jimmy and for Jessica, but what I think I really like about it the most is just that both of them kind of needed their time to sort of explicitly address their feelings. It didn't feel like overly pressured, and it felt, I know there was a life and death situation here, but it still felt organic enough within the world of this show.
Yeah, I mean, whatever happened between them, personally, my theory is all that happened is that they shared a kiss.
Yeah.
Because when we saw them in the cabin and Jimmy had to pull his pants down, she was looking at him in an unfamiliar way, like they have not got to that point yet. So that's what I think happened off screen. I'm still not that excited that the first kiss or whatever happened between them happened off screen, because that always seems to be the way. Where we know something is going on, but they just never show us. They didn't show us here either, but we did have that conversation at the cabin, which I think is, a really important milestone for this show, who never talks about romances that are going on in the office really with anyone in any kind of open way, where Jimmy was kind of like, are we ever going to talk about what happened after that wedding? Because, I really like you and I'm pretty sure you like me. And ever since that thing that happened between us at the wedding, which I think is a kiss, you haven't really been talking to me as much anymore. Things have been a little bit strange, and, I don't want that to happen between us.
I love that he brought it up. I love her response, too, because I feel like this is totally normal where, she does clearly like him, but she's also clearly worried about this is one of her best friends, and she's still kind of fairly new to this office. Like, she's been there a year, and, some of her other friends, unfortunately, probably died when we first met this character, so she may not have a lot of friends, and she may be very, very scared of losing someone who is so near and dear to her, and then having to still see him every single day at the office, and having this sort of awkwardness between them. Like, that's really, really hard.
Yeah, it is hard, but, I mean, he's he's tried to reassure her that
Yeah.
no matter what happens, though, that friendship will still be there. To which I have to call BS, because that's not really how it works. It can work
Yeah.
like that you can continue to be friends afterwards, but it is few and far between, and you do have to put in a lot of work to make sure that once you cross that line and then you want to back it up and go back to friendship, that you're actually able to do that. It is not that easy to do.
I think Jimmy's such a pie in the sky guy sometimes, and I think it's clearly what he wants. I
I
don't.
think he just wants to be with her, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to throw everything at the wall. You're worried that our friendship is going to break up? No problem. We'll be friends forever. Don't even worry about it. Let's go for that coffee. To which I got to say, take her on a real date. You know, I have felt this way a long time about coffee dates, where they're really just the interview to get to the real date. They're just not, it's not romantic. It's more of a get to know you to see if I want to take you to dinner.
Jimmy should have consulted with you before he brought some of this up, because no, I agree. I think coffee is such like a casual thing, and
It's casual.
yeah, and he knows Jessica, and I don't care if Agent Knight is like a coffee aficionado or everything else. It's sort of like, yeah, Parker is a foreign pastry expert, but I mean, on a first date, are you gonna be like, let's go to the donut shop, Parker?
Yeah, no, I just feel like they've already crossed the line. They made it very clear on the show that something happened
Yeah.
between them. So if they've already gotten to that point where they've crossed the line, then I feel like it's okay for Jimmy to just ask her out on an actual romantic type date, instead of let's go to the donut shop and have a coffee together. You know, it's kind of like, okay, you guys you've made it past that already. She's seen your
Yeah.
butt now, and she's dug a bullet out of your butt. Like, I think you guys have long past that relationship part where you guys can go for a romantic dinner. Is okay.
NCIS writers, why did you not write she's seen your butt now into the script for this He needed an exposition friend in this episode to just lay that on him. It is so true.
I loved this episode.
It was good.
It was really well done. And for anyone who couldn't really see the chemistry between these two characters, like, it feels like it's very evident now, the way that, they would lean on each other when he got shot, or hugging each other, like looking at each other. Like, the chemistry is there, and it's undeniable.
One of the things that I really loved about this episode, and I'm going to try not to make this too big of a deep pull, but Chuck is one of my favorite shows of all time. And what I really like about Chuck is, for those who don't really know, it stars kind of this like hapless, nerdy guy and this CIA agent woman who end up becoming like this formidable team, and they develop a romantic partnership and all of that. But the reason why it worked was because while Chuck may come across as like super nerdy and incapable, they would go on these missions and somehow he would still find a way to help save the day. Like, he was still a hero. And I really like that, while Jessica Knight is awesome and capable of really taking down any bad guy in the field, Jimmy still contributed to what ended up happening. He came up with a plan, and he came back for her and made sure that she was okay. I really appreciated that this was a mutual operation that they both had a significant role in, and it wasn't like one of them just took care of the other one and the other one was useless through all of it.
Jimmy's character has proven, like, has just been shown to be confident in himself.
Yes.
He's not sort of a nerdy guy who's also really insecure, or, doesn't really believe in himself. Like, we've seen a lot of that over time, of his confidence in himself. We had Ducky back, and we had him being like, oh, he's putting all his things, all the instruments are in the wrong place. Where by the end of the episode, Jimmy's just like, no, this is my morgue now. Like, I put my instruments where I want to put them. That is most convenient for me. It is not wrong. It is my way of doing things. And I'm just like, yes, that's right. It is your way of doing things. And even when he is in these situations, like, we've seen at the diner or here, like, he is very confident in himself and his ability to be able to think things through and figure things out, that even if he's like, oh man, I'm out of shape and I'm not really able to keep up. It's like, Brian, we all know that you are completely fit and ripped. Like, don't give me this. You're out of shape. Come on.
That's one of my favorite subplots with this show is that like Brian Deaton is like the secretly buff guy.
He's so buff. He is so buff. Nobody believes that you can't keep up with her.
No, it was all of this episode. I think the action in it was really, really good. I mean, you mentioned the chemistry that was there. Like, that really, really worked. I love that they really did have to engage a lot of problem solving. I mean, I will
Yeah, they
say
did.
that I love the Jessica and Jimmy stuff so much in this episode that like my mind kind of tuned out a little of what else was going on with the slot machines and all that other stuff, just because I kept wanting to go back to Jimmy and Jessica.
Yeah, which just shows how good the writing is for those two, how good the chemistry is, that these two actors are able to really play off of that. And, I will say this though, the
Yeah.
show this season, I do not know why, is making everybody so obviously thirsty for people on this show. Like, dial it back. People can flirt with people without being like, hey, like every person. And it's like, I get that Jessica's a good looking woman, but men aren't just gonna throw themselves like that at her so obviously and embarrassingly.
Yeah, that guy's a doctor. Like, don't you see patients every day? Like, how many patients are you like that with on a regular basis?
No, it was a bit weird, and we just, we've had that a couple times this season. Parker had it happen to him. Jessica's had it happen to her multiple times.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, we get it. You can flirt without being over the top like that.
Here is the one thing I would change here about the end of this episode is that it could have been the very, very last shot. We see the two of them get on the elevator. I wanted to see them kiss as the elevator is closing and then it fades to black because it's like we never get that kiss except for the way you specified earlier. And it's like, okay, they don't need to kiss in the morgue. I understand why you probably don't want to show their first on-screen kiss in the morgue. I get that.
I would have been okay with that. That's actually where I wanted the kiss
Oh, you
to
was?
happen.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted it to happen before the whole Jimmy talking about like, to catch that wave, you got to get on that surfboard sort of thing. I think he didn't need to even say that. I think what he said in the morgue was enough for her to really be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to make the decision. We've already kissed. We're just going to, this is Jimmy's place where he feels the most comfortable. I'm just going to lay one on him and then ask him out to go have this coffee. And then they can go off together sort of that way, that she would make the next move because he did ask her out and she was
Yeah.
like, oh, I'll tell all the guys because she's, she's feeling insecure about it. He made another move at the cabin and was like, come on, man, you got your finger in my thigh. Let's talk about this. So by the end, when he's like a third time, hey, come on, grab that surfboard kind of thing. I felt like it was time for her to just be like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. We've already kissed. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Let's just go for it.
I think in general, the thing I'm the most kind of just confused about is why is NCIS as a show so afraid of showing people kiss? It's bizarre to me because it's like we're all adults. This is prime time. Nothing even like that, crazy is happening here.
No.
It just feels like I know this show isn't a romance, and I know we've spent the majority of this
No.
video talking about a romance, but you know what? I don't care. But it's just like there's a lot of other things going on, and having a romance that's public and visible, that doesn't take away from any of that.
No, it really doesn't. Like, it's just, and everybody knows it's happening at this point anyways. We saw Nick and McGee kind of poking some fun
Yeah.
where she got these photos from her cousin of just her and Jimmy. And I was like, what is this? I've been to so many weddings and like, I'll get a month later, 2 months later, the thank you card with a picture of the couple, but never did I get a picture of me dancing with my date at the wedding or anything like that. I was just like, what are these pictures?
The photographer at this wedding got a little bit wild. Let's just put it that way. They're having a good time.
Yeah, I think it's just everybody sees that it's there. Everybody
Yeah.
feels pretty comfortable with it. Everybody's, rooting it on. They all love Jimmy. They want to see him happy. happy. They want to see Jessica happy. Nobody's against this. Gibbs isn't there anymore. The rules are over. If these two want to get together, then, they're adults. And like you said, we're all adults.
Yes.
We're fine to see two people kissing.
As
in the morgue, even though the morgue is not really the place for that. But, we also watched them put a sandwich in with an organ to where I was just like, stop being so dirty, NCIS. You guys do some weird stuff where you're laying out on the morgue table. And I'm just like, I don't care how clean that is. The answer is never.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think the thing I feel at least the best about coming out of this episode, even if I did want to see a kiss, is just that it's nice to know entering the finale that this is there. We don't really have to speculate about it that much next week, and we can just sort of focus on what looks to be the matter at hand, and it does look like we're in for a pretty good finale, so fingers crossed that delivers.
Yeah, I think it's going to deliver. I'm really excited about it. It's crazy that it's come so fast, but here we are.
Yeah, it has come really, really fast.
Knight in Shining Palmer!
Yes!
It's happening.
All right, well, hit that subscribe button. Celebrate with all of us. This is a Knight in Shining Palmer party.
Yep.
Follow us on Instagram, @JessTV. We will see you here next time.